George Elton Mayo, okay, has secured fame as a leader in a series of experiments, which became one of the great turning points in management thinking. Okay, now basically, Professor Elton Mayo, okay, was very much connected with he was very much connected with management studies, and different kinds of work, in the management section or in the management level. Okay, then Mayo's importance to management lies in the fact that he established evidence on the value of management approach and style, which, although not necessarily as an alternate to F.W. Taylor's scientific management, hmm, presented facts which Taylorites could not ignore. Let's see the experiments at Hawthorne. Okay, now the Hawthorne plant of Western Electric was located in Chicago. It had some 29,000 employees, okay, and manufactured telephones and equipped principally for AT&T. Okay, the company had a reputation for advanced um, uh, personal policies. Module 2, chapter number 5, that is Bureaucratic Theory by Max Weber. Okay. Uh, Chapter number 4, which is scientific management by theory by F.W. Taylor, has already been recorded, sir. So I'm starting with chapter number 5 of module 2. Okay, this is a theory given by bureaucratic theory given by Max Weber. Okay, Max Weber was born on 21st April 1864. Erfurt, Russia, and June 14, 1920, Munich, Germany. He was a socialist, he was a sociologist and political economy, okay, best known for his thesis of the Protestant ethic, okay, relating Protestantism to capitalism, and for his ideas on bureaucracy. Weber's profound influence on sociological theory stems from his demand for objectivity in scholarship and from his analysis of the motives behind human action. Let's see Weber's classification of authority. Weber classifies authority into three different sections. Number one, charismatic, which is based on character, heroism, leadership, and religion. Traditional, which is based on patriarchs, patrimonialism, and feudalism, and legal, which is based on modern law and state and bureaucracy at the same time. Okay. Then we see charismatic. What is charismatic? Charismatic basically means some sort of authority or some sort of an eye-catchy thing in a person's personality. Okay, it could be about somebody's looks. Okay, it could be about somebody's skills of orating. I mean, somebody who's very good at speaking, who can convince people, in speaking in public. Say, for example, Gandhi was a good orator. Jawaharlal Nehru was a good orator. Okay, so that is charismatic personality. Indira Gandhi, okay, these were all charismatic leaders, okay, of that time, who could draw the attention of the people, okay, in a larger number. Okay, though they were not good looking, okay, though they were not celebrities, but they were real politicians, okay, and very good orators who could actually draw the attention of the masses for their struggle. Then we see traditional authority. Traditional authority means a person, or an individual who is ruling a particular section of village and society from a very long period of time. Okay, tradition means old. It means ancient. Okay, now traditional authority also means that, okay, authority which is based on ancient time, authorities which is based on ancient values. I mean, old traditions that we follow. Say, for example, in a village earlier, before the judicial system establishing in India, okay, in the early times in the villages, okay, the village used to, select one elderly person who was very known, okay, who was very popular, who was senior when it comes to age, okay, and he was very much, you know, very much particular about his thoughts. He was very much particular about his action, his beliefs, and all the matters relating to village. Okay, it could be criminal, it could be legal. Okay, all these matters were brought before this traditional authority. Okay, one person who would control the entire village or group of villages at the same time, because he was considered to be one of the senior members of the village, and he would give a proper justification and a proper judgment. Okay, which was based on his knowledge, his experience, okay, and his seniority in the village. Third, legal rational authority. What is rational? Okay, a person is known to be rational when he thinks very practical. Okay, his decisions are rational. His decisions are legal. His decisions are, based on practical experiences. Okay, he would question every single authority. He would question all everything that is, a part of the society. So that is rational. What is legal? Anything that is backed up by law, anything that is backed up by the legal entity. Okay, anything that has a backup with legal acceptance in the society. Now, rational legal authority could be Constitution of India or Constitution of any part of the country or any part of the globe. Okay, because it is the Constitution which legalizes, which authorizes a particular law or a particular legislation which is passed by the legislature. Okay, and legislature is the sovereign authority, or Parliament of India is the sovereign authority to come up with laws, to pass legislations. Okay, and also at the same time, okay, it's the parliament and it's the constitution or the legislative assembly, okay, which would frame the laws, and these laws would be accepted by the society at the same time. Let's see Weber on bureaucracy. What is Weber's view on bureaucracy and what Weber has to speak about bureaucracy? According to Weber, that rational legal authority which established modern democracies led to the emergence of modern bureaucratic system. Okay, he argued this in his 1922 essay titled Bureaucracy, okay, published in his magnum opus Economy and Society. Okay, it was Weber who began the studies of bureaucracy, and those who works led to the popularization of this term. Okay, preconditions for emergence of bureaucracy. Number one, the growth in space and population being administered. See, you know, the more the population started growing, okay, there was a need for an administration, there was a need for a government, and this was only possible, this could only be fulfilled, okay, only with the establishment of a legal system or an hierarchy. Okay, and this hierarchy was possible only in a bureaucracy. Now, bureaucracy is basically, concerned with the society, the governing bodies, the law making, the implementing of law, making policies, and implementing of various policies. The growth in complexity of the administrative task being carried out. Okay, what is administrative task? Okay, controlling, managing, dictating, administering people. That is basic the work. That is the basic work of bureaucracy. Okay, that is the basic work of administration. Now, the existence of a monetary economy requiring a more efficient administrative system. Okay, development of communication and transportation technologies. Okay, then democratization and rationalizing of culture. This is the work of bureaucracy according to Max Weber. Let's see the various models which are developed by Weber. Okay, Weber's model of bureaucracy. Number one, administrative class. Okay, people who would administer, people who would see the organizing work, people who would control the society. Okay, number one, people are paid and are whole-time employees in a bureaucracy. Okay, people are employed, they are given salaries for it, they are given remuneration, they are given wages, and there is a different and systematic way of appointing a bureaucracy or a bureaucratic person. Second, they receive salary and other perquisites, normally based on their position. They get salary, they get benefits, they get perks, they get privileges according to the status and according to the level of appointment that they have. The tenure in the organization is determined by the rules and regulations of the organization. Okay, It all depends on the bureaucracy whom to be continued and whom to be discontinued, and it all depends on the bureaucracy what rules, what policy have to be framed by the bureaucracy. Third, fourth, they do not have any proprietary interest in the organization. They are just an employees. Okay, they are not interested to continue this organizational work for their centuries or for their legacy. Okay, the moment they are appointed and the moment they are retired, they are done with bureaucratic departments in the government. Okay, they are selected for the purpose of employment based on their competence. Whichever area they are good, whichever area they are competent, whichever area they are smart, okay, or whichever area they are, capable of, okay, they will be given those departments so that they can perform much better, or they can give their best to the society and to the departments which are concerned with them. Officials are imparted expert training. They're given expert training. No doubt they are educated, they are qualified, they go through a very strenuous process of training, but then they also have to be trained in particular position, in particular section, or in a particular way, how to deal with the situation and how to, control the situation into their hands according to the norms which are given to the constitution. Career advancement depends on technical qualifications. Judges judged by the organization, not individuals. Okay, they are judged by the organization and not by the individuals, and they have to keep performing if they want promotion, if they want better position in this particular organization. Second is hierarchy. Hierarchy plays a very crucial role in bureaucracy. Okay, it's the seniors, the class one, class two, class three, class four, A, B, C, D. Okay, now every position has its own rules. Every position has its own challenges. Every position has its own risks. Okay, because if they have challenges and if they have risks, okay, they will be able to maintain and they will be able to perform their duties in the best possible way. So according to Weber, okay, it makes really good sense, and it makes really good demand, and it makes really good result. Division of work. According to Max Weber, in a bureaucracy, the work has to be divided. Imagine imagine one horse or one donkey or one truck is fully loaded. Okay, the truck, the horse or the donkey can only take up the weights up to his limits. Okay, cannot cross limits. What happens if 5 trucks weight is been given to one truck? Definitely the truck will get destroyed. Okay, and the truck won't be able to perform the duty. So there has to be division of duty. Okay, there has to be division of duty, and there has to be systematic way of supervising the duties which are given to the bureaucrats and the officials. Okay, official rules. Bureaucrats have to work according to the rules which are given to them. Okay, they have to by heart the rules, they have to understand the rules, and the moment they by heart and they understand the rule, that is the time when that is the time when they understand the ifs and the don'ts of their organization. Okay, there are limitations which are set. There are I can say that there are different aspects which are set when it comes to limitation of power, okay, on these bureaucrats or on these officers. Next we have is impersonal relationship. Okay, a notable feature of bureaucracy is that relationships among individuals are governed through the system of official authority and rules. Okay, official positions are free from personal involvement. When you are a bureaucrat, you cannot have any sort of personal information, or you can't have any sort of personal communication with people. Okay, you are governed by the rules, you are governed by the regulations, and the entire section, the entire job profile depends on how you are controlled, how you are governed, what are the rules, what are the prescriptions, and what are the boundaries which are set by the government of India to the officers or to the official. Okay, last is official records. Okay, a bureaucracy has to maintain the record. They have to keep intact, okay, the record that will be used or is used in a bureaucracy. They have to maintain the record timely, okay, year wise, date wise, month wise, and whatever policies are passed, whatever policies are framed, okay, they have to be preserved, they have to be taken care of, and they have to be maintained in the most specific manner. Bureaucracy is basically about administering, governing, and controlling. So if the bureaucracy makes mistake, who will be responsible for it? Okay. So it's the bureaucracy which has to be responsible, which has to be taken care of at the same time. Strengths of Weber's model: number one, it can improve the speed and precision in operation, as everyone knowing his or her own duties. Okay, every official should know his or her own duties, and he or she should be able to connect. He or she should be able to dominate and manipulate the society according to the situation. Conflict and confusion between each other can be reduced by having effective communication. See, effective communication definitely is a part of business, and bureaucracy is a business, right? It's a business between the administration and the administered. That means people who make laws and policies for people who make, for people for whom you are making laws and policies. So there has to be an effective communication. There has to be a proper setup of effective communication between the bureaucracy, bureaucrats, and the governed, that is the common man. Third, it can produce a reliable and well organized functional system, okay, since known and calculable rules accumulated. See, things can be worked out, things can be properly mattered, things can be properly settled if they are worked out properly and if they are maintained properly. Okay, personal emotions which could have negative influence. Okay, in bureaucracy, the bureaucrats are trained in such way that they should not have any sort of emotional curtailment or any sort of emotional bondage. They have to be practical. Okay, they have to be radical in making policies. They have to be very much practical. They have to be very rational, and they have to be very legal while making policies, or while formulating the policies for the common man or for the general civilization. Since the job of an employee is very detailed and specified, he should could develop expertise. Okay, if a bureaucrat is working in a particular or in a specific department for more than 5 to 10 years, okay, it's very much liable that he will be expert in his own work. Okay, and when he becomes an expert in his own work, that is the time, or that is when they are able to understand, and they are able to sort out the problem, solve the queries, come up with a solution in the most effective and in the most profitable manner. Let's see the weakness of Weberian model. Rules are normally provided for guidelines, but often they become source of inefficiency. Okay, when there are rules, when there are too many rules on a bureaucrat, okay, his powers are curtailed. He is not allowed to do the work more than that is prescribed to him. So there it becomes his limitation. Okay, he becomes the limitation, and accordingly, at the same time, during the limitation, he also feels that what he wanted to do for the society, for the people, he is not unable to do it. Rigid organizational hierarchy. Bureaucracy is very rigid. Okay, against efficiency. It will not see your efficiency. It will see that whether you are following the norms, whether you are following the rules, regulations, or not. And that is what matters in a bureaucracy. You have to know your rules, you have to know your regulations, and you have to work accordingly at the same time. All right. In dealing with people, total impersonal approach cannot be adopted. You cannot be friendly when you're dealing with people. Bureaucracy needs to be practical. There has to be a distance which has to be maintained by the society, by the people, and from the bureaucrat. Okay, because he's an official worker, he's an official service provider to the government first and then to its people. So his heart and his mind and his soul has to be connected with the government of India rather than with any common man. And all his decisions should be practical, rational. They should not be based on emotions. They should not be based on feelings. They should not be based on any sort of other source. Okay, so we are done with the model Q. We are done with Max Weber's theory of bureaucracy.